And welcome into a For What It's Worth episode 10. It's your host, Calvin Silvers. I am joined by Erik, Bryan, Tyrone. We got NBA plans, and let me just say, I'm excited that you guys are back. I felt really, really lonely last weekend by myself doing the quick takes. It just wasn't the same. So, how are you guys feeling? I'm glad you guys are back.
Man, I feel good to be back. I feel like so many things have happened since I've last spoke about sports and the world going on. I want to give a quick shout out before anything happens. I watched WrestleMania on Stream East. Oh my god, it was going crazy. So shout out to WWE. It was going. I literally was screaming like, "No, John Cena, no way!" So shout out to them. That's all I got.
Up.
Get
I wish I followed that stuff when, just throughout my life a little more, because just seeing the memes and everyone get excited on Twitter and whatnot, I felt left out. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really know what was going on, but it was cool to see people get excited and what they posted. But yeah, that was a great sporting event that's happened since you've been on, Tyrone. Like I said, we're going to talk NBA playoffs, play-ins, whatnot. But before we get into that, Erik, Bryan, how you guys been?
Same old.
Pretty good, yeah. Just another week in the life of a college student.
Last week of lectures as a college student forever.
Yep.
So is it last week and then
we have finals,
and then
Calvin,
Yep,
you're
so you
so,
don't even get-
old, man. You don't even know how college works, dog. Like,
I was gonna say, wait, there's no like.
oh, you're
there's no
telling
deadly-
me that.
No.
Really? Man, I guess we just had it easy back in the day. I don't know.
We don't need that.
I think we got it at the beginning when we came in, but
I was about to say, I think our first week maybe, or our first week,
Hey,
our first
yeah.
year.
I thought that might have been because of COVID.
in the union now, guys. I didn't know that. I seen
There's a what?
Qdoba.
Yeah,
in the
they
union. I
added that
seen
in McAllister's.
Like
They
what?
got a B-dubs too, right?
I didn't
Yeah,
walk
yeah,
that
they knew it.
too far.
They haven't got that in yet. Dude, I'd be so mad for you guys because, well, I guess maybe I don't know how much you guys like B-dubs, but for me, I love wings, right? So I'd be mad my senior year if they said, "Oh yeah, we'll have it," and then it takes till the very end to get it going.
Man, just put the
That's
Buffalo
stupid.
thing up. And get
I
some
think they
arguments.
said it was supposed to be next year anyways. I think we weren't going to be a part of it anyways, but I'm not sure on that.
We'll talk about that later. I don't want to bore the listeners because they won't know what we're talking about. Okay, but interesting.
Sports
I forgot
podcast.
to mention that. Yeah, sports podcast, and we're talking about food
Not a-
in a
Not
campus.
a food
that-
critic review podcast.
We began with the play-in games in the East. The 7-seed 76ers versus the 8-seeded Heat. I'll give a couple points and I'll throw it to you guys. I got the 76ers over the Heat, especially with Philly on their win streak right now. Joel Embiid, even though not 100% coming off that injury, he still is averaging 30.4 points, 9.2 rebounds, and 5.3 assists in 5 games since that injury. So, like I said, while probably not 100%, he's still playing at a very high level. Bryan, I'll go to you. What is your take on the 76ers versus Heat matchup in this play-in game?
This is gonna be a good game. You know, there's the whole Jimmy Butler rivalry. You know, the Sixers picked Tobias Harris over him. But I do think the Sixers are gonna win. I think the Heat will be whoever gets into the next playoff because the Heat love to be the 8 seed and make a splash in the playoffs. So this is gonna be a good game.
Yeah. Tyrone?
Man, I'm going to go with the 76ers as well. I think they're going to have the best player on the court, and I think the Heat are just like they're just lucky and inconsistent. Like, I mean, I'll bet on some stuff that's lucky, but not if it's lucky. That it's too inconsistent to be that lucky. Like, they're not that lucky to play this bad and just happen to just beat the 76ers, who have probably one of the best players on the earth.
No, I agree with that. I believe you're referring to Embiid, right?
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Tyrese Maxey,
Okay,
probably.
yeah.
Beast.
Well, hey, no, Maxey's really good too, but I figured you were talking about Embiid. Erik, what's your take on this matchup?
I love the 76ers here in the spot and kind of tap back into my betting segment since the rebrand here. I love the 76ers minus the 4.5. They play on Wednesday, I believe. Both West games are Tuesday. But minus 4.5. Erik Spoelstra is 8-16 against the spread as a dog in the first round. It's technically play-in, but I think that kind of encapsulates the first round, kind of mixing in there. And Doc Rivers is gone, so who cares, you know? But also, aside from all of that, if obviously, the star player goes down, it's kind of teams are cooked, whatever. I think Embiid is like the most prominent example of that because the 76ers relative offensive rating with Maxey and Embiid both on the court is second in the league. Obviously with games that he's played this year.
Yep.
And with Maxey alone, without Embiid, they are 22nd in the league. So
Wow.
a significant drop off. They're in the
Yeah.
net like -1.5 like relative offensive rating, opposed to 7. I don't know if that number is relative too, but it's just a dramatic drop off. So I mean, the 76ers are unstoppable when they're both with Embiid and Maxey going. They're second in offensive rating. So
yeah, and I think that's going to be what it's going to really come down to, at least if the 76ers can get out of this play-in, is how long can Embiid stay healthy, because right now, too, I think it helps the 76ers in the fact they don't have to prepare for a series quite yet. It's one game, so, and then hopefully get some rest. So that helps them in their favor, but I agree that it's really going to matter how long Embiid can stay healthy through the playoffs, and hopefully he can stay healthy the entire way. Anything else you guys want to say on this one before we move on to the second game in the East?
No, I got the 76ers winning it. Joel Embiid going crazy.
All right. Yeah, like I said,
Also,
30
rivalry match.
points.
Rivalry match.
Yep.
Didn't know USA basketball came out with something, and I think Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler are competing for a spot on the final roster for the USA basketball team. And Jimmy Butler is pretty upset that it's coming down
crazy.
between him and Tobias Harris.
That wouldn't even be a
Jimmy
thought in my mind. I'll pick Jimmy Butler with ease.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right. He's got something to prove. Let's go to that second game in the East. 9 seed Chicago Bulls, 10 seed Atlanta Hawks. Here's my 2 cents on that one. I'm going with the Bulls in this one. Hawks, I mean, they are just absolutely ridden with injury, and they're kind of cold despite Trae Young coming back in the past couple games. I do think this one's going to be very close, though. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the slow pace of the Bulls, I think that could hurt them in the fact that the Hawks' depth is what worries me the most. So if the Bulls can just get them in foul trouble or just try to wear them down, I think they get away. But I think this one's close. But I still have the Bulls away with this one. Erik, who do you have in this one? You got the Bulls or the Hawks?
I don't know, honestly. I'll probably go the Hawks just for the fact that, I mean, in Trae Young's absence, DeJounte Murray has been going ridiculous. So, I mean, if he can keep that going, I mean, it's going to be hard to stop him, but I don't know. I don't know. The Bulls suck to me, but also the Hawks. So I'll stick with the Hawks.
Very good.
I'll stick with the Hawks just because.
Yeah. Like I said, I just think it's the injuries for me that kind of scares me with them.
Yeah.
Tyrone, who you got in this one?
I'm going to go from an organizational point of view, kind of not really looking at what's going on like right now in the main view of these past few games or even the past half of the season. I think that with the Hawks, if they lose this game, there's some real question marks like, will Trae Young be on this team? It was trading for DeJounte Murray. Was that a successful idea? What's going to happen? Like with these two pairing of guys, what is the ceiling of these two guys? Should we run it back in next year when Trae Young is fully healthy, hopefully for a whole season with him and Murray, or will they end up back in the same position? I think if they make the playoffs and they have a tough, competitive first round game matchup against whoever they play, that's fine, and they lose. That's all right. But if they get bounced out in the play in and you have Murray and Trae Young, I think there's really big questions. So I think that is puts a little bit more pressure on the Hawks to actually go out there and win, opposed to the Bulls, where, I mean, the Bulls are going to be mid next year regardless, so it doesn't really matter to them.
Yeah, no, I think you're right in the fact to look at it from that point of view, because I think, as you mentioned, have a competitive play-in game and see how you compete, and if you can win that, and then if you lose the next one, okay, whatever, you got past that first play-in, you understand your team has a lot of injuries, you kind of assess it from there. But if you get blown out by the Bulls, who is a team that I think is almost on your level, or you guys are the same level, then I think there's some questions that need to be answered. And I think the ones that you brought up are fair ones to bring up as well. Bryan, what do you think about this Bulls and Hawks contest?
This game I think is going to be very boring. And, two very I haven't honestly heard about the Hawks since they made their Eastern Conference run, which was
Yeah,
already 3 years now. So I think
been a
you're
while,
right
man.
though. I think it's going to be a close game. I think I'm going to go with the Bulls. I think DeRozan's going to hit like a tough two to either give them the lead or to seal the game late in the last 30 seconds. So that's my prediction. So.
All right, there we go. So I think all of us agree that it's going to be close, right?
Hmm.
We got
No,
anyone
I got
else?
I got the Hawks. The Hawks doing them crazy. Trey Young
Okay.
is a playoff performer. People
That is
be
true.
forgetting
Yeah.
about Trey Young. Trey Young also got left with the USA basketball team, which is highly disrespectful. He has not been on an All NBA team or a US basketball team yet, and he's led the league in points and assists numerous times. Like that's ridiculous. Like Trey Young he's averaged 30 points in a season. Like how is he getting left off these teams? But I digress.
Yeah. Well, if you're a Hawks fan too, I don't know. Do you want him to play really well? That it's like, okay, yeah, we know we want to keep him, or do you want him, to play
If
well to be like, oh, he could be more of a trade piece now,
If I
or
was
do you
a
just want?
Hawks fan, I would say that we should probably keep Trey Young because you're probably not going to find a player that is as good as Trey Young within the next 5 years, whether it be the draft or trying to trade for somebody. So
It's just whether a team wants to win now overpays for him. That's like, and I mean overpays for him. I think that's the only way Atlanta would
that's
even
true.
think
Yeah.
about it. But yeah, I don't think they would. All right, you guys ready to move on to the West playing games?
Hmm.
Yep.
It's
All right,
boring.
this one should be fun. Let's go with the king, the goat. Some would call. We got the 7 seed Pelicans, 8 seed Lakers in the West. I'm not gonna lie, I can't bet against LeBron James. I just can't do
Why
it. And the
would you?
experience of him, that's what I'm saying. The experience of him, Anthony Davis. Uh, I know Davis
D
has his
Russ.
back spasm, and he's been,
And he
he's
played
been a
76
little.
games this season. He's played
Yeah,
76
I get it.
games
I
this
get it.
season.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I agree, and I understand that's kind of flaring up a little bit lately. But even against Zion, I know he's not going to just completely shut him down. But if you got to have someone go against Zion down low, if that were to happen, then yeah, you want Anthony Davis, someone with experience down there. Also, too, Lakers, they're 3-1 against the Pelicans. You have both your stars will play. Like I said, AD and LeBron. You don't have to worry about one being out. They're both going to play. And you're coming off a 124 and 106 road victory. So you're feeling confident. And like I said, you have LeBron James, Tyrone. You got Lakers or you got Pelicans in this one?
I'm going to go with the Lakers, and I think this game's going to come. Obviously, LeBron and Anthony Davis, they have to play well for Lakers to win. It's going to come down to, I think, what most of their playoff runs going to come down to Austin Reeves or D'Angelo Russell. Will either one of them be able to have a 20-point game, a 25-point game, a 30-point game? If they're able to, one of those two are able to shoot the ball well, maybe go 3 for 4 from three, get a couple tough finishes, they'll be able to win. They can beat any team if one of those two players plays that well, in my opinion. So I'm gonna roll with the Lakers, especially with Brandon Ingram coming off injury.
Okay, I love the Lakers and the fact that what they've done and LeBron and AD and Reeves and that core but everyone's always like, yeah, they play well, they could beat anyone,
They
and I'm
can though.
tired of
They
hearing.
can.
I'm
They
tired of
literally
hearing that,
can.
man.
They
They're
can.
in the play-in right now.
No,
I
look,
feel like if that
last
was
year,
truly true, they would be a little better than what I say. They're the 8 seed.
well,
Yeah.
their best player is Ancient, man. He can't he's not doing all that. All he has to do is
I
get in
mean,
there.
Hey, you
Last
had a
last
record high out of Anthony Davis this year. You guys are still the 8 seed.
it doesn't matter.
yeah, that's what I'm
It doesn't
saying. Like,
matter.
yeah,
Like,
if they
all right,
if they
look,
get hot, yeah, they
let's
can beat a
let's
good team,
say
but
let's
in a
say we
game, maybe
Lakers
a
get it.
series.
Yes, they can do it. Look, last year they lost in the Western. They went to the Western Conference Finals This was last year. They didn't get bounced early. They went to the Western Conference Finals and took
Yeah,
the Nuggets to 6 games. Like this is not a team that's like a put. No team is like, dang, the
5
Lakers are
games.
about to be sweet. Five games. It doesn't matter. I'll take.
It does. It makes a huge difference, but it's relevant.
There's not a team in the NBA right now that's like, man, I really want to play LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
yeah.
No. I can name a bunch of teams I'd rather play. I think you guys are sleeping on the Lakers. So it's crazy.
I'm not sleeping on. I
No,
like if you're going off, they have a strong
have
core.
no.
I think that's a fair point that they should maybe not be in the play-in. That's all I was saying with that. Like especially with you saying Anthony Davis played 76 games this year, so like you said, LeBron is ancient, but he doesn't have to be the best player on the team anymore.
He's still put up
And
great
he's still
numbers
playing
too.
great. So I think that's a
Yeah.
valid argument.
Yeah, no, I'm not hating on the Lakers. I literally said I have them winning here. Bryan, Erik, you guys have them beating the
Yeah.
Pelicans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Brian's been a Pelicans guy for a couple years
I just
now.
want to see Zion play, but man, I can't just see. I just want to see what happens. That's all I want.
I mean, he is really good down low. He is really hard to stop. But go on, Erik.
I mean, I don't see any way I could, if I bet, I probably won't bet on this game a team to win at least. And if I were, I probably would pick the Lakers because if I pick the Pelicans, I'm like, why did I bet against LeBron in the playoffs? Like
Yeah,
that was
that's what I'm
stupid.
saying.
Yeah.
I can't bet against LeBron.
But for this
I just
game,
can't do it.
I'm going with the under here. Both West games, I'm going with the under.
Okay. All right. I like it.
That's all I got.
All right. Anything else? All right. Anything else we got about this Lakers Pelicans matchup before we move on to the other playing game in the West?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Let's get it going.
All right, here we go. We got the 9 seed Kings, 10 seed Warriors. It's so weird saying, the Warriors as a 10 seed. Remember the days where they were best record
73-9.
NBA?
This team's becoming a reality TV show. That's why.
It's crazy. But despite all that, I still have to go Golden State, especially with the Kings missing Monk. I feel like that's really hurting them. Chris Paul is going to be there this year to take some of the load off for Curry because he was heavily focused by Sacramento, the way they play defense in last year's playoffs. Now, I know Curry went and dropped, 50 in Game 7 last year against them. But for the majority of that, they really was playing him out there. So now you're going to have Paul that you have to worry about. And so I think that's going to help them. So, and yeah, I just got Golden State in this one. Bryan, who you have?
Yeah, I got Golden State. I mean, Curry's always. I think Curry's going to find a way. I don't know how far it's going to take him in, but I think they can get at least past the play-in, and they're 8-2 in the last 10 games. So they're riding high at least right now. So they have some confidence going into the play-in.
Erik?
I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this one here. Because Curry, I mean, really the same reason that I don't want to bet on the Pelicans is it's Curry. Steve Kerr always just load manages well and just has everyone ready to go for the playoffs. They just do good enough to make the playoffs, and now with the play-in they can do even less good and make it. And then they just 8-2 in the last 10. I mean, that's a great spot to go into the play-in here. But Mike Brown, the Sacramento Kings coach, is 59% against the spread here in the first round. So, I mean, that's 60%. That's a great – if you're hitting that, you're a great bettor. But I don't know. It's tough. I'm kind of torn on this one. But I like I said, the under if you need something.
Yeah, and there's a matchup we'll get to later on that I am kind of torn up on that I don't really know. And I don't know if it matters to any of you too, but Draymond will be back, and he didn't play the last time.
De'Aaron Fox is a dog, though.
No,
he's so good.
No, it's gonna be a good matchup. I just still have Golden State, Bryan, or not Bryan. Sorry, Tyrone.
Erik is focusing on the betting aspect. I'll be focusing on again the more motivational, outer, worldly view of this. The Golden State Warriors are playing for their jobs, their teams, their friends. These are people that they love playing together. They love being with each other. They're obviously Clay, Draymond, Curry, Steve Kerr. These are all guys that look obviously they're so important to the Warriors in this place. This could be the last time we see them together if they lose that game. For real, this could be the last time that this really happens. Why would you want to reload this team if you guys just went to the play-in and lost in this first game? So I really think from that standpoint, Steph, Clay, Draymond, Steve Kerr, they all are aware of these things. The front office, they're aware of these things. They're going to come in this game with a little bit more steam, a little bit more we have to win this. The Kings, I mean, obviously it's to get into the playoffs. They want to win it, but the motivation just isn't as there as much for them to me. Plus, they have injuries. So I'm definitely going with the Warriors on the motivational side of this. And I just can't see Curry going outside like this. Every time there's a time for him to step up, he's did it. So I'll be going with the Dubs.
Well, and too, like you said, from a motivational factor or just the fact that, like, do we keep this core or do we kind of move on from it? I think that works for people like Jackson Davis as well, who's had a good year this year and has showcased something. If he plays well in the playoffs, then yeah, maybe you think about moving this piece to keep him. And so I think that's going to raise some questions. So I think a lot of players, while will be fighting for the team and organization, blah, 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 I think a lot of them kind of have their own kind of self motives to prove that A, they're still relevant and can still be used, and B, for some, to just be like, hey, I can be a core piece now. So I think that's interesting there. Now, I know the play-ins, some of these teams will have a second chance if they lose. We're not necessarily going to dive into that, but I will pose this question for you guys. Can any of the play-in teams defeat the 1 or 2 seeds? Let's start in the East. Celtics, can any of these play-in teams that we mentioned in the East, 76ers, Heat, Hawks, or Bulls, can any of them defeat the Celtics? I'm going to say no, but if it was the Heat that matched up with the Celtics, that could be interesting. It could be interesting, but no, I don't think anyone can defeat the Celtics out of that play-in. Bryan, do you think anyone can take down the Celtics from the play-in field?
No, I don't think the Heat match up as well as they did last year. Now that they have Chris Stapps, I think that matchup for Bam is just not in his favor, and the Heat are already a pretty small team as it is. So no, I don't think so.
Erik?
I mean, I think no, but the biggest threat to them, I think, would be the 76ers if Joel is healthy the entire series. But other than that, no, I don't believe. I don't believe the Celtics will lose round 1.
Yep. And I should say, too, the fact that I didn't bring up, like, the 76ers could take down the Celtics is because I'm honoring what I said and who I think is going to win in the plan. So that's, with the 76ers I have winning, so they wouldn't match up there. So, but good point there. Tyrone, any of those do you think could take down the Celtics?
Oh, for sure.
Any of the plane?
The 76ers could win the entire Eastern Conference. They can win the whole Eastern Conference. The 76ers might have the best player in the entire Eastern Conference. Like, why would Joel Embiid not be the best player on the floor? And most of the things I rate winning playoff games, or really important games, is which team has the best player on the court. And why would Joel Embiid not be the best player on that court? He's better than Jason Tatum. He's a reigning MVP. He dropped 70 points in a game this year before he got hurt. If Joel Embiid doesn't get hurt, he's probably the back-to-back 2-time MVP. So I mean, all my as long as he's healthy, they have a shot to beat almost any team they match up with because they have Joel Embiid, and special players make special plays. Joel Embiid is. I really think that him getting injured really stopped a lot of people from understanding how well of basketball he was playing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another crazy fact to show that is Joel Embiid has taken more free throws this year than Jokic. He missed like 30. That's crazy. He's basically playing at an unstoppable level. And he came back and dropped 37. Like, he's not playing. This is a guy that's unstoppable. And I don't think that Porzingis could, if they did a matchup, Porzingis, Al Horford, they hold no chance of stopping Joel Embiid.
No.
They're fried chicken. It's over.
Fried chicken.
It's over. I think that would be a 6 to 7 game series.
All right. What about the Knicks? I think, like I said, just with who I had, winning out of that, I think if the 76ers matched up with the Knicks, like I think it could happen, I think the 76ers.
I'm going with the Sixers. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, Julius Randle's not back, right?
No, he's not back. He's not going to be back either.
But okay, let me pose this question for you.
A huge advantage for the Sixers.
Let me pose this question for you. Let's say game's on the line. Who do you trust more, Julius Randle or Brunson? Let's be honest.
100%
Brunson easily.
Brunson. Okay, so it doesn't matter. I see what you're saying. He could add a little more, but at the end of the day, you still have the guy you want at the end of the game playing for you.
That is true, but I also think that Brunson is going to have to do too much of the offense. Yeah. He's going to have to carry too much of the offensive load for the Knicks, and I don't think he will be able to do that against a team with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey on that have multiple scoring options. Now that the Knicks can't really score the back, they really can't. Not really. The second option right now is Dante DiVincenzo, and he's a solid player, or OG Anunoby, but he's
a
hurt.
Defensive guy.
Yeah, I would take the 76ers just based off the fact that they have Joel Embiid, who's just there based off that. Just literally based off that one fact.
So it seems like we all agree that if there is one team, it's going to be the 76ers.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Heat culture is fake.
I'm just saying, man. I don't know what it is. Like
They
I
find
said,
a way. I don't know.
They find a way. Now, I don't think it's going to necessarily happen this year, but they find a way. All right, here's where it gets fun. Same question for you. Now we're going to the West, and we'll start with the Thunder. Now, this one's so hard. You guys are talking about, oh, like you don't want to get matched up with so and so, or oh, you don't want to get matched up with so and so out of the plan. If you're the Thunder, I feel like you really don't want to get matched up with some of these teams. And just because they're so young, that's why I'm saying that. However, they've played in the hardest conference all year, and they have the 1 seed. They've proven it. All right, they've proven that they can handle these teams. In that case, I feel like none of these playing teams, Lakers, Pelicans, I don't think any of them are going to take down the Thunder. But this one is kind of more interesting just because of how young the Thunder are, and we haven't seen them as the 1 seed, having that expectations, which we'll also get to here in a second. But having an expectation like this, that's going to create a lot of pressure. But I still think they get out of the first round. But it might get scary. What do you think, Tyrone?
I think the Lakers would pose the best chance of beating the Thunder.
Okay.
I also think my outer worldly views of teams in the NBA. I think that this year the expectation for the Thunder is they're not going to win the championship this year. I think that most people would generally say that they're not going to win the championship this year just due to their lack of experience. I think that next year is the year where we see them really make that push as a serious contender. But I also do think that if they don't make it out the first round, it'd be pretty disappointing.
Yeah, they have to make it out of the first round.
They have to. As a 1 seed, it's a very flat, nasty taste in your mouth being the 1 seed and losing a 7-game series against a 8 seed. But I would also
I don't care about the whole we have all these picks, blah blah blah. No, because that's a moral victory. Look at it. We'll be fine because we have this and this.
They will be fine.
You have to get out of the first round.
They
will, but that's a moral victory outlook.
Like regardless of how this year goes, it doesn't really matter. I think that this next year or two, at some point they're going to trade. They have 12 picks in the next 3 years. They're going to trade like 4 or 5 of those picks and get somebody in the NBA to be their third star on that team, and that will probably be. They could probably end up being really close to the new Golden State Warriors in the next 4 or 5 years if they do that, which I would highly advise them to do, regardless of how this season goes.
What if they get Joel Embiid, Ty?
If they get Joel Embiid, I don't know. Hey, the needle is moved. That would be easily the best team in the NBA.
100%.
And like I said, we'll get to the expectations here in a second. So Erik and Bryan, we'll get your take on the Thunder's expectations. But do you see the Thunder getting taken down by any of these play-in teams? Bryan, we'll start with you.
I could definitely see the Lakers knocking them down, but the Lakers are going to beat the Pelicans tomorrow, and so they won't play the Thunder. They're going to end up playing the 2 seed, so they'll play the Nuggets. So that's where that is, but if I was the Lakers, I'd rather play the Thunder. I think they match up better against the Thunder than they do the Nuggets. So.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that too. I'd agree. Erik?
I think just all the West playing teams as a whole, besides maybe the Pelicans, really the Kings too also, so the Warriors and the Lakers, they just have that, that veteran, playoff experience to where it's like the East teams don't really, not as not as prominent. It's LeBron and Curry. Like if you ask anybody, do you know who LeBron James or Stephen Curry is? They're probably going to say yes. To where it's like, they've just had great careers. Like it's just hard to, not see them going, whatever. So I think the West 1 seeds have a lot tougher draw with just the playing teams that they have to deal with compared to the Celtics and the Knicks, but besides the 76ers. But yeah, so I think they do handle that whatever, hopefully in the first round, but maybe come second round they might run into some trouble here, but first round only, I hope they don't lose, but I don't think they will.
Yeah, and I don't think any of them are going to take down the Nuggets. So if there is going to be an upset, and I hate to say, because like I said, they're the 1 seed and they prove themselves. But if there is going to be an upset at the 1 or 2, I think it's going to be the Thunder would be taken down by a play-in team before the Nuggets.
Yeah, for sure.
Whoever
All
get
right.
matched up with the Lakers for real, like for really,
Yep, you're dying on that train of they can beat anyone.
they can, like they literally can.
We'll see. No, I mean, like I said, I just feel like if that was so true, they wouldn't be even in the play-in situation.
Hey,
Let's go back.
no, have they won a ring together? Have they won a ring together?
We're talking
LeBron and
A
AD.
Mickey Mouse ring?
They won a ring, so
Yeah, I was gonna
obviously
say we're
Yeah,
talking
we'll
they
about
still
slap
won
on
a
the
ring.
wrist.
It don't matter. They were still playing basketball, still scoring. The other team was doing COVID too, so it don't matter.
like yeah,
I
They
know,
could have
I'm
been
just
Yeah,
playing
asking.
like the
hard.
Heat, like the Heat.
They could have been playing anywhere. Yeah.
That was
All
Rudy
right, let's go
Gobert's
back
fault
to
for real.
yeah, for real. Touching all the bikes and whatnot. It was bound to happen anyways, but he really kickstarted it. It's crazy. One guy really
He should have
set
been.
the
He should have been
dominoes in
smacked.
motion.
See, that's why Draymond put him in a headlock.
Yeah,
3 years
that's
later.
That's that's one time Draymond might get the you know what? All right, I'll let that one slide.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the East and talk some actual like not playing but actual solidified matchups. The 3-seeded Bucks and the 6-seeded Pacers. I don't think you guys will be surprised by my pick here. I got to go Pacers. Even if Giannis plays, Giannis doesn't play. Doesn't matter. I think the Pacers win this one, and here's why. One, Doc Rivers
I knew
is
that
your
was
coach
coming.
if you're the Bucks. So there's the first thing. I knew you guys would be expecting that. Also, the Pacers have won 4 of the 5 meetings that they've had this year, and they were all before Doc Rivers took over. So that means Doc Rivers just has to watch film. He hasn't actually played against this Indiana Pacers team. He doesn't know how they work by seeing it with his own eyes. He has to watch the film, not just by what happened on the court and seeing it live. So I think that's going to play into the factor. Like I said, Giannis likely to play, but they've been kind of iffy about his calf and how he's been. And so you have that to worry about. So I got Pacers in this one. Tyrone, who do you have?
If Giannis is, I will take the Bucks if Giannis comes back by game 3. He doesn't even have to play the first 2 games. I think that the
You're crazy
Pacers.
for that, dude.
I think
Do
the
they have to
Pacers
play the
inexperience
first?
shows. Like I think the Pacers inexperience shows. They're led by Tyrese
They've
Halliburton.
won 4 of the 5 meetings this year.
It's the playoffs. The
The
playoffs.
inexperience doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It does.
And that
matter.
was early on when the
matter.
Bucks had that great record.
That does matter. I think it really does. This is a 7-game series. This isn't just like you play one game
And
and
they
be
won
lucky and you
4
win.
of 5 this
No,
season,
this is
Tyrone.
a playoff series. I really think that there's no way if Giannis is healthy. Giannis, if he's the player that I think he is, he goes out sad against a matchup against Pascal Siakam. I think that Damian Lillard has played bad. He hasn't played up to his standard this whole season, but I mean, his track record lets me know that he is one of the most clutch players in NBA history. So if it was me, I'm taking my money with Dame, Doc Rivers, Giannis, and Bobby Portis will probably step up too. The Pacers, they're not there yet. They try to make a move early in the season for Siakam. I think that was a premature move. They're a fun team to watch, but I don't think that they're going to win this series. I'll probably take the Bucks in 6-5 if Giannis is fully healthy. Could be a sweep.
You're talking about people all stepping up and this and that, Bobby Portis, this and that. The Bucks dropped the final 2 games. They had a chance to get the 2 seed, and they failed. They're already showing that they can't handle this pressure. They're already showing that the Doc Rivers is already showing his true colors right now before it even officially started. They had a chance to wrap it up. They dropped it. They dropped the last 2 games. Who's stepping up? They had a chance to step up and get the 2 seed. They did it.
You're making some pretty strong points, but at the end of the day, in the playoffs, the only thing that matters is, hey, if Giannis is healthy, give him the ball. And this is basketball. Literally one player, a star player, a top 10 player, one of the greatest players of all time. He can literally just win you the game by giving him the ball and him going crazy. If Giannis is healthy, he is capable of having a 40-point triple-double. He could average He could average 30, 10, and 7 if he wanted to every single game. Damian Lillard is capable of
I think he's going to have a good game.
30-point playoff series. I will take that based less than over the unknown things that who knows what Tyrese Halliburton could do. He could have a terrible playoff series. The lights could be too bright. He has never been on that stage before in his life.
Before me and Tyrone, I feel like have been going at it here for a second. Erik, what are your thoughts on this one here with the Bucks and the Pacers?
Yeah, the Pacers, they had a fun regular season. They had a good in-season tournament run. They, which that was where one of their games came from, I believe, when they against the Bucks here.
Playoff like setting.
Yeah, but
Money was on
if
the line.
Giannis is healthy, there's no way. Like, obviously they haven't played
No
great.
way.
They're-
No way.
No,
No.
it's
There's
Giannis.
no way.
Calvin, why are you playing with Giannis, man? This is Giannis. Like,
This
what
dude
are
has a
we talking about?
championship.
Man, he
It's
had
also
50 points
Doc
game
Rivers.
7 to win his ring. That doesn't matter. Doc Rivers don't got the ball in his hand.
I'm sorry,
No,
Erik.
but
You
Yeah.
hate Doc Rivers too much.
What?
if
I'm not
okay,
even hating on Doc. But go on, Erik. Sorry.
if
Sorry. Go on.
Giannis plays the entire series, the Bucks are not going to lose. I mean, Dame finally has like a playoff team that he can coerce with and show what he actually could do. And Giannis is like unstoppable. Like the only person that's any even relatively built like him is Wimby, and he's not in the playoffs, so he's good. And there's just, I mean, maybe Doc Rivers comes into play next round, but I don't. If Giannis plays the whole round, I don't think Doc Rivers matters in the first round against the Pacers.
Bryan.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Giannis is my favorite player, so I'm always gonna go with him. I'll put it this way: by the end of the first round, the Pacers highlight of this year will be hosting the All Star game. I'll put it that way, okay? Because they won't beat the Bucks. I'll put it that way.
And losing the
Fair enough.
in-season tournament.
And getting to the championship in the first ever in-season tournament.
Yeah.
So
What a time. All right, let's go to the other game in the East. We have, and I mentioned this. I said there is a game that I believe is a true toss-up. I really don't know, and I hate doing that. As we're doing this podcast, because it's like, no, pick a side. This one is hard, and it's the Cavaliers, the 4-seed Cavaliers, 5-seed Magic. Like I said, truly a toss-up here. On one side, you have the health issues of the Cavaliers and the issues that they've had since the All-Star break. But, the defensive scheme is built for how the Magic play. They like to attack the paint. They like to get to the line. So the Cavs are kind of built, actually, to handle the Magic in the first round. But like I said, the injuries and just some of the struggles since All-Star break kind of worry me. But also, I think the Cavs most night will have the better shooting. So I guess if I had to pick, I think it's more Cavs. But this one's truly, truly a toss-up for me. Bryan, who do you have in this one? You got the Cavs or you got the Magic?
I got the
Some good
Cavs.
young talent, too.
I think I got the Cavs. I think their big core three with Garland, Mitchell, and Evan Mobley mixing in there with Jared Allen. They're just a good two down there. I think that and the Magic's lack of inexperience in the playoffs is what is
Lack
probably
of
going to hold them
experience.
back. Excuse me. I think this is going to be a long series though, because the Magic have played very well this year. I think it will go at least 6 or 7 games, but I think the Cavs ultimately have the better team and have more experience, so they will come out on top.
All right, yeah, I think we kind of agree there. Like I said, I think 6 or 7. It's going to be very close. But I think the better shooting is going to help the Cavs in the long run. Erik, who do you got in this one? You got the Cavs or you got the Magic?
I got 2 reasons here.
Okay, let's hear them.
Number 1, the Magic were the best team against the spread all NBA season.
Ooh.
Number 2, I bet on the Cavs last year against the Knicks just to win the series, and they absolutely pooped their pants. So I'm not going to do that again. So I'm just going to take the Magic for the fun, and also I don't know who's favored, so I hope the Cavs are, so I can get the Magic at plus money. But I do agree because most 4-5 matchups do go to Game 7, so I do like the long series bet here. So I'm going to agree with that, but I'm just going to go with the Magic just because the Cavs pooped their pants last year, and I don't like that.
All right. Fair enough, yeah. Spice it up a little bit. And Tyrone,
I'm going to go with them.
Who you got? You got
Go with the Magic in 7 games. The reason why I'm going to go with the Magic is because I don't think that the Cavaliers have anybody to really guard wings to guard Paulo. I think this is going to be a Paulo coming out party. I think that he's one of the most, I'm not going to say underrated, but I feel like he's one of those next players that's going to take that step into being an actual star because he was an all-star this year. Rookie of the Year last year. He's taking those steps that he needs to take. He's the best player on a playoff team. And I also think that Franz Wagner is definitely an underrated player. And I think that I'm going to take those two in a matchup. If Isaac Okoro is guarding one of those dudes, I would take that matchup. The Cavs play a big lineup with Jared Allen and Mobley. So one of those two is going to have to guard, potentially going to have to guard Paolo. And I would take Paolo on the perimeter against those two. And ultimately, that's what I think this is going to come down to. Donovan Mitchell is probably going to hit a buzzer beater, hit some big shots. But I do think that the Magic are going to come out on top.
All right, there we go. So, like I said, it sounds like we all kind of agree it's going to be a long series, kind of a mix-up there of who we think's gonna win. Erik, like he said, Cavs long run, but maybe for the fun, go with the Magic there. So I like that. Let's go to the West now. Here's a fun one, and like I said, we'll talk expectations super quick at the end. So I don't really want to dive into that aspect yet, but we do have two teams that I think have some big expectations. And that's the 3-seeded Timberwolves and the 6-seeded Suns. Like I said, hold up on the expectation part. We'll get there. I just kind of want to get who you guys think will win. And then, I mean, that might kind of expose your expectation aspect, but it doesn't matter. Here we go. As nice as the Timberwolves are, and as nice as Naz Reid has been, this is a nightmare matchup for Minnesota. This team is 0-3 against the Suns this season. And all those losses have been by double digits. They didn't even lead at any point in the second half in any of those games, and they're 0-3. They've outscored the Wolves 25, 26, 17 with Rudy Gobert on the court. Somehow the Timberwolves are worse when he's on the court when they played the Suns. And they usually take away Edwards, or they have in the 3 games that they played this season. He averages 26 on the season. In those 3 games, the Suns has held him to 14, 12 points less than his average. This is a scary, scary matchup for Minnesota. I have the Suns in 5, maybe 6, but yeah, 5 or 6. I got Suns here. Tyrone, who you got in this one? You got Timberwolves or you got the
First
Suns?
and foremost, before I give my prediction on this, Anthony Edwards is an animal. My perspective of him is not going to change at all, regardless of what's going on. Anthony Edwards is one of them ones. He's like that.
Oh yeah,
But
quote,
one of the greatest players of all time. I'm Kevin Durant. I'm going with the Suns. Kevin Durant's averaging 27 points this season. That's more points than he ever averaged on the Golden State Warriors. Kevin Durant, I know he's older, but he's not LeBron, but he's doing very similar things to LeBron. He's still playing at the highest level that he could possibly play. And I do think that the Suns have a lot of holes in their team, but I do think that it's really going to come down if KD can play consistent throughout this whole time, if Grayson Allen can step up, hit some big threes, and if Nurkic could actually have some sort of offensive putback and hold his own and down there. And yeah.
And they should have their big 3. So I don't
really have any
excuse of why.
I don't have no expectation for Bradley Beal. As long as he's just out there, he's just running around.
I mean, that's fair, but I mean, you bring him in, and you like I said, you label this as a big 3. I think.
Oh yeah, he definitely. Yeah,
you kind of expect a little bit. Erik, who do you have in this one? You got Timberwolves or you got the Suns?
Okay, this is what I'm gonna say. Oh my god. So, like during the Sweet 16, I think I bet UConn and Purdue, and I parlayed that with 3 NBA teams, all from the West: the Nuggets, the Thunder, and the Timberwolves. Mostly because the Timberwolves were like very long odds, so I could put them for like $5 to win, whatever. But I'm seeing a lot of doubt, just all over the Twitter space and right here in this podcast on the Timberwolves, and I don't know. I mean, Anthony Edwards is a dog. I mean, but
he is. But like I said, he's being held 12 points under his average. I get it. It's 3 games. I get that, but that's saying something in those 3 games against the same team.
So I might go with the Suns here. I probably actually will bet on them to win the series and probably most of the games. Just straight up, just to get a little extra in my pocket. With the Suns, I'll just go with the Suns.
Yeah, no, I Like
These
I
teams are
said,
insignificant in the bigger picture,
I
but
don't know.
for this
I don't
matchup,
know.
go with
I
the
I
don't
don't
Spurs.
know
know.
about the Suns.
They
We'll
they,
get there. We'll,
they
we'll
both
get
can
there.
make
We'll get
something
there in a
shake for
second.
real. Definitely.
Hey, we'll get there in a second. We'll get there in a second. Brian, who do you have at this one? Timberwolves or Suns?
I'm gonna go with the Suns in 6, but
Okay.
I don't. You can't count the Timberwolves out. I think Anthony Edwards. He's had a fantastic year. He's got Carl Anthony Towns back now. I mean, he's probably not 100%, but he is still back, and
The
he is still a
zestiest player
great
in the
player.
NBA.
That's not my point to judge, but I mean, Anthony Edwards the Timberwolves could easily win this series, but I think it's going to be, if they do, they're going to win in 7, and it's going to just take them a lot to get there. But
No, they're gonna
I
sweep
don't think that's
Brooklyn.
going to happen. I think the Suns will win in 6 because, like Ty said, they have Kevin Durant, and Kevin
Yep.
Durant's a dog,
That guy
so
sucks.
easy money sniper doesn't miss.
Yep. Too bad his foot
Hey,
was
Jay, that was one of the
too big.
On the
craziest games
line.
I've ever seen. That's what I'm saying, man. In the NBA, man, these
No,
playoffs, the people that have been doing it are going to
dude,
do it again and again and again.
the way he had to fight in that series, that game
Carrying. That's what I'm
specifically.
saying.
Ooh, yeah,
Carrying.
no,
Hey,
literally,
get on my back. I'm finna just shoot it every
literally
time
carrying.
and score.
Here's a fun matchup. I'm excited for this one. I'm excited. I'm rubbing my hands. I'm so excited for this one. We got the other game in the West that's solidified. 4 seed Clippers, 5 seed Mavericks. Give me the Mavericks. The post trade deadline Mavericks. This roster, it's a different animal than what we saw the first half of the season or before that trade deadline. This team is different. They're on a crazy run right now. They're confident. They play defense. They have people that can score in a magnitude of ways, specifically Kyrie and Luka. Strategy or not, the Clippers, they also won't be straightforward about Kawhi Leonard's knee. What is going on with Kawhi Leonard? Is he going to be 100%? Is he going to be ready? Is he going to be good to go? Are we going to see him attack a playoffs like he did with Toronto? Are we going to finally see that? I don't think it really matters anyways. I got the red hot Dallas Mavericks right
Calvin.
now. Brian. Tyrone, take it away then. No,
Hey,
Tyrone's ready. Jump in,
if
Tyrone. Let's
Kawhi
go.
Leonard is
What?
healthy, the Clippers are easily winning this series. They'll win this in like
No,
yes,
easily,
Kawhi
man.
Leonard.
Have you been?
Kawhi Leonard
Kyrie has no distractions this
It don't
year.
matter.
Kyrie
It don't
has
matter. It don't
no
matter.
distractions this year. It's
Hey,
straight
Luka
hooping.
Doncic
It's
It
straight.
is
has
Ramadan.
played the Clippers twice in his career, and he's lost both times. He's lost both times.
Yeah, that's over. It's done now. They're red hot. This is different. This is a different
I've heard it
Mavs
all
team.
before.
Kyrie's looking
No,
sweet
they're
too, man.
definitely.
Weren't you on the pod? Weren't you on a pod the last time you were on saying that we got to talk nice about
No,
Kyrie, this and that?
Kyrie's
Here
playing
I am
defense.
giving his
He
flowers, and
He
now
is. But the Clippers the Clippers are so
I can't wait to see choke playoff Harden, choke playoff Russell. I can't wait to see
You're
those
forgetting
guys.
PG. See, they got a D
Can't wait
team.
to see it, man. But choke play PG as well. I don't know if that helps helps the case or makes it worse. Can't wait to see that. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's really going to come down to how Harden plays.
It's just
really
is.
Russell's been good off the bench. I'll give him his credit. He's been good
I'm not
off the
going to
bench.
say that.
Clippers do
James
really
Harden had a 40-piece in a game winner last year in the playoff. This was last year when the best player on his team, Joel Embiid, was hurt. He said, "I got it, y'all. Move out the way. I'm gonna do it." James Harden, 40-piece game winner.
I knew this was going to happen.
He
I
did
should have
that.
brought
He
up the
did
James
that
Harden
last
stats
year.
when it's
What do you want him to do? What do you want him to do?
Not choke. So what? You have Clippers that easily.
If Kawhi Leonard plays, I'll take the Clippers in 6.
I wish they weren't being so iffy. I don't know if that's, like I said, a
That means
strategy or not. I don't know. They're trying to throw off the
That means
Mavs.
he's injured to me. If you're just not telling the truth.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, is it? Are you trying to be strategic here and just try to throw off the Mavs, or is he actually hurt? But you're not trying to make it seem like, oh, he's really hurt. That's what I'm saying. Either way, I still have the Mavs. But Brian, who do you have in this one? Clippers or Mavs? Red hot Mavs, I should say. By the way,
I honestly don't know. I think this will be the best series of the first round, just because of all the names that are going to be playing. I'll say the Mavericks in 6.
Boo.
Just to go. I mean, it could go either way. I don't even care. As long as it's a good
It's
series and I see good basketball, I'll be happy.
yeah. Eric, who do you have in this one?
I'm easily going with the Mavs here. I mean, the Clippers got all the names, I guess, but like Luka and Kyrie have upgraded immensely since last season when
Yep.
they first started playing together.
Even
It was
since
a little shaky.
the beginning of the
Yeah,
year.
that too. I mean, they've just been leveling up, you know. So I can't not take them in. Kind of what you were saying. I mean, with all those guys combined, they have, you know, Kawhi has the only ring, right? Like, I don't know.
How many rings? Oh man, I can't wait, man. I really,
Luca's about to get
I
one
really,
right now.
I
I
really.
don't know. No.
Ty, this is gonna be your moment with UConn with Calvin. This is your moment
It
right
just
here.
is my
Facts.
moment. Listen to me and listen to me.
Also,
clear. Even
ever since Texas banned that one website, the Mavericks and the Rockets haven't. I mean, they probably have now, but like there was a stat where they won like the next like 12 games combined.
They were
So
focused. Tyrone, you're the only
actually,
one that
even
believes the
if
Clippers
Kawhi
here.
Leonard does not play every single game of this series, I'm taking the Clippers regardless. And if Kawhi plays, Clippers in 6. If Kawhi does not play, I'm taking the Clippers in 7. If Kawhi, listen to me clear. If Kawhi Leonard is healthy, the Clippers can win the championship. They can literally win the championship. If Kawhi Leonard is healthy for an entire playoff run, he can win it the champion. Like he
Oh
can.
man,
It's Kawhi
no
Leonard.
man, they're too
He's no,
inconsistent.
he's
They're too
he is hurt.
inconsistent.
It's not inconsistent. He is hurt. Whenever he is healthy,
That doesn't okay, but that doesn't help
if
the
he stay
case.
healthy
If
the
anything,
whole
that's
time,
worse.
he's
You would
fine.
rather I think more inconsistent than hurt.
Nah, I'd rather take it as long if he's healthy, he's gonna hoop. I honestly believe that.
That's fair, I guess, but
I'm
I still have
taking
Mavs,
proven
man.
players in the NBA in these playoffs. Proven players every time.
You're the lone ranger on this one, man. You're the lone
I
one
can see
there.
the Clippers winning. I just think the Mavs are going to win.
Y'all are playing
It
around
could.
with the Clippers,
It
man.
might. I don't think so. I really don't think so. All right, we're gonna make this little segment quick here. Couple sentences, each expectation. We might have a quick argument about some of them, but I just kind of want quick fire expectation. Eric, you're gonna start off. We're gonna go Eric, Tyrone, Bryan. We're gonna keep going in that order. Here we go. Expectations for the OKC Thunder. Eric, couple sentences. What are their expectations here in the playoffs?
I'm gonna do like a tier kind of thing here. I think for sure they need to win the first round. I
Yep.
think they should, you know, with them being the one seed and you know all this hype and stuff, they should definitely win second round. If they lose the round after that, I think that's a good playoff for them because they can kind of discount it on their youth.
All right. Tyrone,
Expectations
expectations.
for them
OKC.
is to probably get out of the first round. After that, like Eric said, you're inexperienced. Next year, if they have the same starting lineup, they will still be the youngest team in the NBA.
Yep. Okay. And Bryan.
Yeah. I mean, piggyback. They got to win the first round for sure. I think their ceiling should be is probably going to be the Western Conference Finals, and then they need to at least their floor will be second round. So
Yep. And we all agree. Get out of the first round is my take here for the expectations. Got to make the second round a little competitive. Let's try to get that to at least 6 games. And then I think you feel all right. I think then you can start saying, yeah, you started, settling in. At that point, they would have had, if they got to the second round to a game 6 or 7, you play so many games, I guess, depending on how that first round goes, maybe you sweep, but you know what I mean? So at that point, yeah, youth caught up to him, whatever. All right, Eric, we're going to start with you on this one as well. Same order. Here we go. Expectations, couple sentences for the Suns in your eyes. Eric.
Uh, I don't have any expectations for the Suns. I mean, it seems like everyone is expecting them to win the first round, but after that, I don't know. I don't think they'll win past the first round.
All right,
Ring.
Tyrone.
They have Kevin Durant on their team. They have Devin Booker. They just traded for Bradley Beal. Their expectation is to win a ring. Kevin Durant's in that locker room. They should be talking like, guys, we got to go win a championship. If they lose in the first round, bad. Anything but besides a championship at this point, for if you have players like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry on your team, it is like that's a L. Like it's get a ring or that was a waste of my time.
All right, Bryan.
yeah, I actually would agree with Ty on that. I think you have too many big names and too much talent on your team to at least not get to the Western Conference Finals. I mean, it's tough in the West, but I mean, you have the players to do it, so you just got to make it happen.
Yeah, and I don't think
You have two
my
players.
take. I don't think you quite need the ring yet. If you don't get the ring, I don't think it's a total failure. I think you do have to compete for a Western Conference, in the Western Conference final, though. I think you have to compete in that series. But yeah, I don't think you necessarily need to win the whole thing. But yeah, I think to feel at least somewhat all right with the season, compete for a Western Conference championship. All right, Erik, back to you. We got 3 more teams we're going to talk about expectations for. We kind of already mentioned this one, but the Timberwolves, expectations for them.
I mean,
As mentioned, they played the Suns.
yeah. So I mean, them being the 3 seed, it's not like you know, I don't know. I think it should be high just because of their seeding, but them playing the Suns is kind of a bad draw for them. I think just because of all the veteranship on the Suns. But I mean, I think if they win round 2, I think that would be if they win the first round and win the second round, I think that would be a good season for them.
I think the Western Conference Finals is their expectation. A little bit of GM money wise stuff. I was listening to podcast earlier and reading this article. So a lot of people in the front office and the ownership of the Timberwolves, they're pretty upset that they're gonna have to pay the luxury tax next year for Karl-Anthony Towns. So if they lose or they spoil the bed or they don't do well, that they could very well Karl-Anthony Towns could be traded. But I think if they secure the Western Conference final spot and they have a competitive series, even if they go to 6, lose to maybe the Nuggets or something, that will be well justifiable to give Karl-Anthony Towns that money and have 3 super big max deals with Karl-Anthony Towns, Gobert, and Anthony Edwards.
Yep, Bryan.
I would say at least a first round win, even though I said the Suns, but and I think at least like a 6-game series in the second round to at least show that they can contend with these other teams, and at least to show that what they have there and what they are trying to do is going in the right direction, but still needs to be fine tuned to get to that next step to fully commit.
Yeah, and like you guys said, I have the Suns too, but the expectation for them in their eyes, yeah, you've had Cat for so long now. You need to start seeing some kind of really good success from what you're trying to build around him. And so I don't think they're going to get here, but I think in their eyes, they got to get to the third round. They got to get to the Western Conference Finals. They don't, not my eyes, they don't get there, but that's the expectations within their organization, within their bubble. All right, 2 more. Celtics, what are their expectations, Erik?
I mean, the world's expectation for the Celtics is to win. I mean, they're the favorite to win the NBA. They're the favorite to win the East by a lot. They're like minus 175 last time I looked, 180, something like that. My expectations for them is to win the first round because the Celtics suck in my eyes. They're not making it to the finals. I'm so sure of that. But I mean, their worldview expectations is to win or at least make it to the finals. But I don't believe they can.
Erik, you're a man of numbers and facts. I'm going to give you guys a lot of facts right here real quick. So I read an article today on Action Network, and they are classifying juggernaut teams. They classify a juggernaut team as a team that was the 1 seed in their conference by at least 10-plus games. The Celtics were the 1 seed by 14-plus games in the Eastern Conference.
He sucks.
The past 2 teams to do that won the championship. Out of the past 12 teams to do it, 10 of them have won the championship since 1984. So statistically speaking, the Celtics should cruise to a championship. They're plus 14 points in your conference. That is something that's legendary. The last team to do that was last 2 teams to do that were the Warriors in 2015 and the Heat in 2013. So the last 2 teams to dominate their conference that much have won the championship.
So you're saying there's a 2 out of 12 chance that they don't win the championship?
Yeah.
I'll take that all day.
Bryan, expectations for the Celtics?
Yeah, it's got to be to win a ring. I mean, you've been so close the last few years. This is probably the best put together team you have. The East is, like Erik said, it is weak. I mean, Giannis is hurt. Doc Rivers does come into play. The Sixers are still getting Joel Embiid back to fully health. outside of those teams, I don't see anybody else contending with the Celtics. But I think the hardest game is going to come down to whoever they play in the West. So, and if they don't even get there, that's really bad. I mean, that's actually embarrassing, honestly, at this point for how good your team is and how weak the East is, and you don't get to at least the Eastern Conference Championship. I don't know. I don't know what you question there, but
I think I'm a little bit on both here, but I think worldview. It's you got to win it all. I think you definitely have to get out of the East, 100%. You cannot not get out of the East and call it somewhat a successful season. No, you have to win the East. Like that is for sure. Do I expect them to win it all? Do I have expectations for them to win it all?
FanDuel, that's their favorite.
No, but I also agree on the fact that you have all these big names, all these players. You got to get it done soon or now. So, but I think worldview, you have to win it all. My view, you definitely have to get out of the East. And the last team, this is kind of a fun one, the Heat. What are the Heat's expectations? Remember, they're in the play-in. Erik, what are their expectations?
I mean, nothing. I mean, if they lose the first game, it's like, okay, that's fine. They played Joel Embiid. I don't know.
We're fine.
I don't think it's anything. I mean, I guess you have
doesn't raise any questions about their core.
I mean, I guess you have
Butler, Bam.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have those guys. But
you've had some of these injuries. The Heat have faced some of these injuries. You might get some of these people back for the playoffs. Does that raise expectations, Tyrone?
If I was in the Heat locker room, I could have a camera in there. They're definitely talking that title, let's win a ring stuff. But I'll let you know that's not happening. You'll never, ever, 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 ever win a championship as Jimmy Butler as your best player. Like that's just that sounds like hate coming out of my mouth, but like it's true. I don't think you'll win a championship with him as your best player, and it's been shown twice. So their expectation in the Heat locker room for the Heat culture is probably to get to the championship, get to the NBA Finals. But what I expect them to do, lose in the first round.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but you expect them to get out of the play-in, though, is what you're saying.
Have a great shot too. Yeah, they're better than the Bulls and the Hawks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Bryan?
Yeah, I agree with that pretty much. At least if you can't beat the Sixers, you at least got to beat the other two teams, and then you play the Celtics. And hey, if you can make it interesting again and maybe knock them off, well,
if the Heat play the Celtics, the Celtics might lose.
Dude, no,
that'll be an exciting first round.
And that's what I said. And that's what I said earlier. If any of these or any of these playing teams could take down a team, if anything, I think the Heat make it interesting against the Celtics. I don't think they do it. I think they make it interesting. My expectations is they get out of the first round, or they get out of the play-in. Excuse me. Maybe make the first round interesting. Maybe try to put it to 6 games. But I'm just expecting them to get out of the play-in now. Of course, every organization's goal is to go far. Every organization is expecting something out of a core that they have. I know there's some young cores that team are just like kind of testing out, but like for the Heat, obviously they have a core that they've been building, so they want to see a lot, they expect a lot. But if you're asking just strictly my thought, they have to get out of the play-in. All right, this has been a great episode 10, talking the NBA playoffs. Before we go, anything you guys want to say at all about it?
I would like
shout out to Scotty Scheffler. Sorry,
thanks.
Shout out to Go.
No.
Sorry, 2 green jackets in 3 years is impressive.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say.
Number 1 overall for a reason.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Drake. First and foremost, keep doing your thing, man. Don't let these haters get in your way. Keep doing you. Keep being successful. If you got to talk crazy about somebody, talk crazy. Also, number 2, J. Cole, man, do some soul searching. That's not it, man. You would never see LeBron James be like, nah, man, KD got it. He better than me. Sub me out the game. That would never happen. Come on, man, gotta do better. I'm probably still gonna listen to music, but I don't know. I'm not as loud in the headphones.
Yeah, that's fair. Erik, you got anything to say?
Yeah, shout out Scotty Scheffler, and the Royals are cooking. I'm excited to watch. I'm excited to be back in KC for the summer and watch some Royals baseball. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
go to a game.
We're gonna have to hit up. Yeah, hey, back to some Northwest talk real quick. I'll have to double check, but there's an MIAA day at the Royals. We should
I
hit
bet
that
I'm
game
down.
up. It's in like
Yeah.
June or July too, so it's like
Baseball?
in the summer.
I'm sure.
Oh, it's gonna be
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Supposedly they're gonna have like branded Royals hats for your team, like the college you went to. I don't know how you prove you went there,
My
but it might
back
be
at
like a
ID.
branded
You
Royals.
still got your student ID,
Maybe,
man.
but like I don't
I'm
have.
down with that.
I'm gonna have to bring like an alumni magazine
Facts.
or
I'm
something.
bringing my diploma.
Bring your
Some shit
diploma.
like that.
Yeah.
Diploma, yeah, just carry it around. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
don't
stuck
lose
this
that.
out.
Yeah, for real. You're gonna be
I
like,
might just carry my
check
diploma
it.
everywhere with me,
But
just in case I got to get in an argument.
for real,
Shut up.
that's crazy. With that whole time, and I don't even like. I know where it's at.
I know. I'm looking at it.
kinda.
I look at it
I
every
have a
day.
relative idea, but I'm pretty sure it's in the tub somewhere. So I should have it out. I should be more proud of it. But
He's gonna go get
I
it.
think Tyrone, he's gonna get
Oh,
it.
my
I was
gosh.
about to wrap up. Yeah, there it is. Hey, show the people. Show it.
Hey, let me see what I'm getting in 2 weeks. Fingers crossed.
If you ever questioning what I'm saying,
Fingers
it
crossed.
goes back to this. Come on. Hard work, dedication. Come on now.
Hard work, dedication,
Come
took
on
the
now.
time, effort.
Come on now.
There it is. Beautiful.
It's gonna be
I
all
might
right,
still
Erik.
go to bed with
Look at
this.
that college
This is my
education.
Yeah, I was
championship.
gonna say that's the goal
What'd you
right
say?
there, Erik and
This is
Bryan.
my championship.
Oh, facts.
A great championship. All right, that was episode 10 of For What It's Worth. NBA playoffs was the topic at this one. I always give this spiel, but go ahead, follow, subscribe, whatever. Do whatever you can on all our social networks. We're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Spotify. Just type in For What It's Worth. If that doesn't work, type in at FWIW Sports Pod. That should work. If not, hit me up personally. I'll send you links to everything. How about that? We'll make it work. We appreciate all the support from everyone. Until next time, have a good one.
See you later, brother.